Welcome, Vinny. Thank you so much for joining us online today. I know you're super busy, so we're really thrilled to have you with us.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And Vinny, I'm going to do my best to introduce you with your really impressive bio, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you started out writing for Fringe Theatre, and your debut play, if I believe I'm right, True Brits, opened the Edinburgh Fringe in 2014 before transferring to the Bush Theatre and Vault Festival. And then you went on to write An Adventure, which ran at the Bush in late 2018.
Yep.
And your first piece for television, Murdered by My Father, won the Royal Television Society Award for Best Single Drama and was nominated for 3 BAFTAs. You've also been named a BAFTA Breakthrough Brit for your work, and have gone on to write for Payne's Plough, ITV, Channel 4 and the BFI. And your most recent work is working on the 11th and 12th series of the wonderful Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So that is a really impressive bio for someone so young. Wow. And are you allowed to tell us what you're currently writing on, or is that top secret?
What am I? I'm working vaguely. I'm working on a couple more plays, a couple of films, and a few TV series. Which, when I say it like that, makes me feel very panicked. But it's all manageable and all very exciting.
Fantastic! That's so exciting. And just go back to the beginning, really. Just really fascinated to ask you: have you always written? What inspired you to become a writer?
Yeah, I guess I was like always that kid writing stories on like my family's like kitchen table and stuff like that. But actually, I had quite a convoluted route into doing it. I think just because I think it's quite hard to see it as a viable life, and like there's a distinction between writing and making writing your career. Which, like, whenever I talk to newer writers or emerging writers, tell them not to panic about that, because it's all about creating a good work rather than necessarily doing it for money. Anyway, I went around the house a little bit. I was like a tech at a film school for a little bit. I had a couple of businesses working as like a corporate filmmaker and a corporate headshot photographer and all sorts of strange things that were sort of around writing but never quite writing. And then I just sort of realized that if that's what I wanted to do, I needed to focus on it. And so I ended up doing a master's when I was 24. And that was just a year. I don't think it's something that everyone needs to do, but for me, it was like giving myself permission to just focus on that. I mean, I still had to like work part-time through it. So I'd like run and do like a corporate shoot at lunchtimes and then come back and edit in the evening and stuff. So it was really intense. But just for someone like me, it was nice to give myself the license. And I met lots of wonderful friends and colleagues who I still send my work to, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I guess. And they still help me make sure I'm keeping things to the standard that I want them to be. From there, I went back and got another job and was writing on the side and put on my first play when I was 28, which isn't super old, but relatively late in terms of the playwriting life. But I also, for me, that was really helpful and I don't regret it. And I liked not just my sense of self, knowing that I could do other things apart from writing. It helped me sort of not put that much pressure on it. But yeah, I've been doing it full time probably since 2015. Yeah.
So it's great to hear you're still writing plays too, because I know some writers start in theatre and then move to TV and don't really go back. So is that something you definitely want to keep writing for both?
Yeah, I would say through experience that nothing makes you want to write for theatre like writing for telly. Basically, just because I mean it depends on your sensibilities. Like I think there can be a bit of a trap, the idea that if you're a writer for theatre and you really love that and you really it's something that people like your work, then naturally you transition to being a television writer. And sometimes it works, but sometimes that isn't what is right for you. For me, I think the thing is with television, it can be the development times are very long. It's very technical. There are lots of like other documents, like pitch documents and outlines, and so many other parts of the process. And that machine can feel a bit wearing sometimes. And there are lots of different places that you get notes from, and like basically you're beholden to lots of other people in a way that in theatre you still are, but there is, I think, a real love of purity of voice there, which can make it an exciting place to play around with. And I think, television is definitely heading in that direction. And again, we can talk a bit more about that later. But for me, an adventure is kind of this story of a relationship over 60 years across 3 continents. And that, it wasn't like the cheapest play in the world. It was like 3 hours long, but that's like millions and millions and millions of pounds. That's a television show. But I really want to tell that story. I want to do it then. And also theatre is just really good at being a place where you can sit an audience with a mutual feeling, and that I've come to like, as someone, I didn't grow up with theatre at all, but I've come to really love the idea of keeping people in a space and feeling the same thing, just seeing people react to the same thing. There's something really magical about the liveness of it. So yeah, I think I'll always be the person who jumps back and forth between the two.